Over the years, I worked with some really great consulting firms and not so great ones. When I look back and think about what made some projects in consulting firms more successful and what made some IT deliveries not so great, I boil it down to 4 different areas. And as an acronym, I'm calling it BuSPro. Let me explain. So the BU in the bus is business context. What are they trying to do? The business problem you're trying to solve, how does it fit in their landscape? What is the return on investment? Is it a compliance and regulatory need? Is it a market need? Is this a sales marketing oriented initiative? Is it just keep the lights on? Whatever that is, that business context needs to be grounded in reality. And as a consultant, anybody in technology who's going to be there to make it successful, you better have a good, firm understanding of why they're doing it. So that's the business context part. The second aspect of this is strategic. So what is the strategic objective? What is their 2 to 5 year roadmap of where they want to go as a business? And how would this initiative support? I see that all the time, particularly with Salesforce projects. They are strategic to an organization. It's trying to transform and it's trying to do things differently. Maybe they are a product company and they're trying to move into a subscription model. Maybe they are a services company and they're trying to move it into a newer kind of service offering, a newer kind of pricing model, a newer kind of support model, which involves global teams. That is the key aspect of it. Not only do we want to understand the business context of why something is getting done, but the longer term, what would it evolve and grow into? And that helps us identify how much to focus on technology, how much long term do you want to build. In technology, there is this architecture principle called solid. And one of the areas in it is you want to not make too many assumptions about future usage of technology. You want to ground it into the business strategy. So I don't want to build super sophisticated solutions and trigger frameworks and bring a lot of technology firepower. If it's a very smaller term need and in 1 to 2 years, they know for a fact that they're going to move. Opposed to that, if you see that this is a strategic initiative and then the next 2 to 5 years, this is going to be critical to their success, you really want to invest the time upfront to build a very long-term, highly durable, fairly sophisticated architecture. So that's the strategic in BuSPro. The pro part now, let's get into that. The PR exists for project context. So a number of projects and programs have their own context. Who the stakeholders are, what are they looking for? What do they expect in 2 to 3 months, in 2 to 3 quarters, in 2 to 3 years? And you want to understand how this project is going to be structured, who's going to drive this, who are the stakeholders, what kind of evolution will this project have? And I want to separate that nuance between business context and project context. Project context or program context is all about business context, not so much. Business context is about why we want to do it. Project context is about how are we going to succeed doing it from a program and project perspective. And that brings us to the RO part of BuSPro. And the RO is roadmap. It's the enterprise architecture and technology portion. What I found is that most successful customers don't think of roadmaps only in the context of in the next 3 to 6 years, what do we want to do? We get DevOps, we will have Kubernetes, we will have microservices. You hear all these things and they want to invest in AI and machine. But the key area where good architects and consultants succeed is they also look at the ability of the organization to deliver, the IT maturity of the team that's going to not only look at this roadmap as some PowerPointy deck, but also think about how they're going to build and actually deliver on it. That's the part where I think there's a lot of stumbling blocks. To recap it all, what I saw successful customers do, successful consultants do more than anybody else is really think about the business context, the strategic aspects of what they're trying to do, the project and the program management lifecycle and its evolution, and finally the roadmap. Curious what you think. Thank you so much.